As the clock ticked down to 0:30, Batman's mind raced to find the solution. His eyes darted around the control room, searching for any detail he might have missed. On the large screen in front of him, the timer continued its relentless countdown, each tick a hammer blow to his determination. But then, just as the clock struck 0, his gaze fell upon a tiny, almost imperceptible wire hidden beneath the device's casing. Hope surged through him with a swift, precise cut. He disarmed the explosive. A wave of relief washed over the crowd as the ticking stopped and the bomb threat ended. But their respite was short-lived, for as Batman turned to face the cheering crowd, a chilling voice echoed through the room. "Well done, Batman," the voice taunted. But that was only the first. The real game has just begun. Before anyone could react, the Riddler reappeared on the screen. His face split into a wide, malicious grin. "I must say, you all are quite the attentive audience," he said, savoring the moment. "But it's time for your final exam. Time to put those detective skills of yours to the ultimate test. Can you guess where I am?" The camera panned around, showcasing an unfamiliar part of Gotham City. Skyscrapers gave way to dark, narrow alleys, the camera finally settling on a symbol scrunched up on a fire escape. As the line faded, a beat of silence hung in the air before the raucous laughter returned. "Such a shame it has to end like this," the Riddler said, his voice dripping with mock sympathy. "But Gotham's finest just couldn't resist, could they? Always so eager to play hero. Now you've got my riddle. Now you're on my clock. And as always, there's a prize for the winner, so keep your eyes peeled, Batman, because this city is about to become a very dangerous place." The transmission ended, leaving Batman alone in the suddenly silent control room. He wasted no time in springing into action. As the crowd slowly filed out of the now safe control room, Batman disappeared into the labyrinthine passages beneath Gotham City. He moved with purpose, urgency lending speed to his steps. In the dimly lit tunnels, his cape billowing behind him like a phantom, he resembled less a man and more a creature of the night, a predator stalking its prey. Meanwhile, back at the GC, Commissioner Gordon watched the Riddler's final transmission on a loop, his face creased with concern. He understood the gravity of the situation better than most. This wasn't just another madman with a death wish. This was the Riddler, a twisted genius who took pleasure in turning Gotham's iconic landmarks into deadly traps. Each clue he left behind was a taunt, a challenge, a test of Batman's intellect and his humanity. As if sensing Gordon's troubled thoughts, Barbara Gordon, his daughter, and the ever-resourceful Oracle, spoke up. "We've got to move, Commissioner. Batman needs our help to decode the Riddler's message." Gordon nodded, his gaze still fixed on the screen. "You're right, Babs. Let's see what we can find." And so, the race against the clock began. With every second that ticked by, the danger increased. The fate of Gotham City once again hung in the balance, held hostage by the whims of a madman. As Batman delved deeper into the heart of the city, he knew that this game was far from over. The Riddler had just dealt his most dangerous card. Now the true test of Batman's abilities, his intelligence and his endurance, was about to begin. And as the night wore on, the stakes would rise. The traps would become deadlier, and the choices Batman had to make would be harder than ever before. The Riddler had brought his A-game, and he was toying with Batman, relishing in the struggle. But the Dark Knight was in his element, thriving on the challenge. The hunt was on, and neither man would rest until the other was caught. All right, let's get this show on the road. Panic breaks out. People are running around. Gordon's trying to get them to stop. But really, it's all too late, because now Batman is moving. He steps forward toward the box, and he kneels down beside it. And there's a very good reason that Batman is kneeling beside his box. It's not because he can't figure out the riddle. It's not because he needs to examine the writing. No, it's because of something else entirely. And if you're paying close attention, you might have noticed it already. What Batman is actually doing is kneeling in front of that box so that he can look inside of it. Because up until this point, we haven't actually seen anybody look inside of the box. We don't know what's inside the box. Nobody's opened the box, so while everyone else is panicking, while Gordon's yelling at people to calm down. Batman is the only one who is actually thinking clearly. He's looking at the box and he's trying to figure out, like, how do I open this thing? How do I defeat the trap? And then he notices the writing on the outside of the box. And when he does, we hear his internal monologue. He's muttering to himself, thinking fast. And he says, it's not about what's written, it's about what's missing. And as soon as he says that, of course, the trap is triggered. The countdown begins. We hear the click. Clack. Click. Clack. There's a mechanical worry noise and the numbers appear on the front of the box. 3 o'clock minutes. The timer's on and Batman has 3 minutes to figure out how to open this box. Or else, whatever is inside of it will be released and destroy Gotham. And again, nobody knows what's inside the box, which makes the situation that much more terrifying. It could be anything. It could be a bomb. It could be a weapon of mass destruction. It could be something that's invisible. We don't know. But Batman does know one very important thing. Whatever is inside of that box is not the real threat. The real threat is the trap itself. The psychological trap that Riddler has laid out for him. Because if Batman can't figure out how to open the box, if he gives into the panic and the fear and the pressure and he just does whatever, if he makes a mistake, then Riddler wins. And Riddler has set this trap not just to harm Batman, but to harm Gotham. To harm all of these innocent people. This is a trap that's designed to break Batman, to make him lose control, to make him give up. Because if Batman fails here, if he fails to open the box, then Riddler will have proven his point. He will have shown that even Batman can be defeated. And so, Batman has to succeed, but he also has to maintain his cool. He has to keep his head in the game. He has to use his intellect, his detective skills, his powers of deduction. He has to use everything that he has at his disposal in order to beat this trap and to figure out what is inside the box. And we know that Batman will succeed because we've seen this story before. We know that he opens the box and that whatever was inside it doesn't end up being a big deal. But at this moment, in this scene, it looks like Batman might not be able to solve the mystery in time. What's inside the box? Folks, what do you think's going on here? Let me know in the comments below. Now, as always, there is a lot more to unpack. For example, why is Batman investigating the murder of a homeless man? What is the significance of the box? And what is Riddler's endgame here? What is he trying to accomplish by sending Batman on this wild goose chase? Well, if you want to find out, you'll have to stay tuned for more episodes. Thanks for watching. See you next time. So I just got word from the GCPD. They found another one of the Riddler's boxers. It's downtown, near Gotham City Hall. I'm sending the coordinates now. You'll be there in 5. As we pan over the GCPD, we see Batman standing beside Commissioner Gordon, both of them looking up at the large green question mark painted on the box. The top of the box is slightly ajar. From inside, we can see the green glow of a ticking clock. And then the most unexpected thing happens. The box begins to levitate, slowly rising up the steps of City Hall. All eyes are on the box as it rises higher and higher. And then finally it reaches the top of the stairs and the image on the screen inside it becomes clear. It's the Riddler, or rather, his suit. It looks like the screen was displaying his reflection, and now he's stepping out from behind it. He wears a green suit with a black shirt and a shiny belt buckle in the shape of a question mark, but his face is hidden behind the hood of his long green coat. He turns to the camera and speaks in his usual metallic voice. Good evening, Gotham! Or should I say good riddance, Gotham, because I haven't had the pleasure. Tonight, we play a little game. Inside this box lies an answer, and planted throughout the city are bombs. 3 bombs. You have 90 minutes to solve the riddles. Find all 3 bombs and disarm them, or they will detonate and destroy the city. The timer starts now. He raises the box above his head so everyone can see the clock on the side of it. It reads 90 to 0. Then he throws it down the stairs, and it lands on the ground with a thud. But it's not just any box. It's a trap. As soon as it hits the ground, it springs open, and a swarm of razor-sharp metal teeth shoot out, slicing through the nearby police barricades. The crowd screams as they run for their lives, but it's too late. The damage is done. A few officers have been cut and the rest are forced to fall back. They watch in horror as the Riddler pulls a remote control from his pocket and presses a button on it. Nothing happens. He presses it again, and still nothing. With a flourish, he tosses it aside and strides forward, pulling a gun from his belt. "Looks like the bat's away," he says, grinning wickedly. "But don't worry, Gordon. I've left him a little present. A little something to help him get into the holiday spirit." He raises his gun and fires. As the bullet flies toward the camera, we cut to black. In the Batcave, Alfred is examining a small piece of metal. It looks like part of a gear or a very large clock. Suddenly, the lights flicker and an image appears on the main screen. It's a distorted version of the Riddler, his face twisted into a grotesque grin. "Guess who just made your worst nightmare come true?" he taunts. "Your precious city is mine, Batsy, and if you want to stop me, you gotta hurry. You got 89 minutes before the first bomb explodes." Then the transmission cuts out. Batman rises from his chair, his cape billowing behind him. "Alfred, we have a situation." He turns to the computer and begins typing furiously. "I need you to trace that signal, Alfred, and get the GCPD on the phone. Tell them to evacuate the City Hall area. There may be a bomb there. But Master Wayne, what about the citizens? They could be in danger. They'll be safer away from the immediate blast radius. And besides," Batman says grimly, "who's gonna protect them, if not us?" As Alfred gets to work, Batman rushes to the armory. He grabs a grappling gun, and a batarang then leaps out the window, disappearing into the night. Meanwhile, the Riddler is making his way through the streets, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. Every so often, he stops to admire his handiwork or to taunt the citizens of Gotham, but always he keeps an eye on the clock. With 60 minutes left on the timer, Batman makes it to City Hall. But when he tries to enter the building, he finds the door blocked by one of the metal teeth from the trap box. "Great!" he mutters. "Just great!" He takes out his batarang and gets to work. Inside, we see the Joker sitting in a chair, watching Batman on a monitor. "Ooh, Batsy's here!" he says, his voice dripping with mock surprise. "Tell me, do you think he'll make it in time? Do you think he'll save the day?" We cut to black as he laughs maniacally. Next scene, Batman has managed to pry open a ventilation shaft and is crawling inside it. As he makes his way through the ductwork, he hears the Joker's maniacal laughter echoing through the vents. "Looking for something, Batsy?" The Joker taunts. "Why don't you go find one of those pesky civilians and ask them?" "Oh, never mind. They're all gone." "You're too late, Batsy. You always come in second." Suddenly, the ductwork begins to shake and the lights flicker. Batman crawls out of the vent to find himself inside a large room full of computers. In the center of the room, the Riddler is standing next to a large red button. Behind him is a massive screen displaying the image of the city of Gotham. "So nice of you to join us, Batman," the Riddler says, turning around. "Ready to play the final game?" He presses the button. Sirens blare, and red dots begin to appear over the city. Bombs. "Find the bombs, Batman. But hurry! You only have 30 minutes left!" Then he disappears, leaving Batman alone in the dark. To be continued. From the rooftops of Gotham, a lone figure observes the city below, illuminated by the flashes of lightning. He sees everything clearly. And from his vantage point, high above the city, he sees the one thing no one else has been able to see. The connection between this madman and the Dark Knight. As another clap of thunder echoes through the night, momentarily bathing the figure in light, we see that it's Batman, but he's not alone. Beside him stands a very alive and well Gordon, Commissioner James Gordon, who should be enjoying his retirement. But, just like Batman, he can't resist the call of duty. The camera holds on them for a beat longer before pulling back to reveal the source of their grim expressions. On the building across from them is the Penguin with his umbrella held high, laughing maniacally as he surveys his handiwork. Below him, the streets of Gotham are flooded. Cars are abandoned. Citizens are running for cover and giant chess pieces are wreaking havoc. A pawn sacrifices itself to take out a police car. A bishop shoots a bolt of lightning, narrowly missing some terrified citizens. And on the other side of the board, the queen takes aim at a fleeing family, forcing them to freeze in fear. As they retrapped between the giant attack of the Ice Queen and the advancing army of the Red King. As if he's reading Batman's mind, the Penguin speaks into his communicator, his voice dripping with sadistic glee. Having fun yet? Batman, this is my gift to you. My way of saying thank you for all the memories. You and your precious city will pay dearly for what happened to Oswald. With that, he cuts the transmission and turns his attention back to the game, moving the knight forward, sending more police cars, crashing to the ground and pushing the humans around them off the streets and into the subway tunnels below. Batman clenches his fists, but Gordon lays a hand on his shoulder, shaking his head ever so slightly. He knows that Penguin is toying with them, trying to provoke a reaction. Batman takes a deep breath and turns to Gordon. How many people have been affected by this storm? So far, none have been hurt, but we have thousands stranded and without power. And the flooding is getting worse. Then it's time to join the game, Batman says, readying himself to take flight. But Gordon stops him. Wait, you're not going in there to play his game. You'll only get played. Someone has to stop him. Jim, not you. Me? And before Batman can protest, Gordon is gone, disappearing into the night as quickly as he appeared. Left alone on the rooftop, Batman looks up at the night sky, his cape billowing dramatically behind him as the wind picks up around him. He watches as lightning strikes one of the chess pieces, causing it to explode in a shower of sparks. He may have found a way to defeat me, Batman says grimly, but he won't win. He turns and leaps across the rooftops, moving with the grace and agility of a predator as he disappears into the maze of Gotham's skyline. Meanwhile, deep beneath the city in the abandoned subway tunnels, Penguin laughs hysterically as he surveys the destruction he's wrought. But his triumph is short-lived as suddenly the lights flicker on, revealing Gordon standing in front of him, his face grim and determined. Surprised, the Penguin drops his umbrella and takes a step back. I thought I made it clear you weren't welcome here, Gordon. This city isn't big enough for the both of us. Penguin, you've caused enough chaos. It's over. Oh, really? Then why are you down here, Batman? The Penguin turns and sees an army of bats swooping towards him. They're blocking the tunnel, preventing him from escaping. The Penguin's eyes widen in fear as he realizes he's trapped. You may have won this battle, Gordon, he says, his voice shaking. But the war is far from over. Batman will pay for this as the last of the bats disappear, plunging the tunnel back into darkness. Gordon steps forward, his face illuminated by the faint glow of the emergency exit sign above him. He already has Penguin. That's why I'm ending this now. With that, he draws his gun and fires. The camera pans up to the sky, following the trajectory of the bullet. As it arcs through the air before disappearing into the darkness, we hear the sound of the bullet hitting its target, followed by a muffled scream. Then silence. As dawn breaks over Gotham, the citizens begin to emerge from their homes, blinking in the morning light. The storm has passed and the sun is shining brightly in the sky. But the battle between good and evil is far from over. Hey there, detective. You got a minute? Commissioner Gordon looks up from his desk, eyes narrowed at the dark figure standing in the middle of his office. Batman! When did he get here? How long has he been standing there? Still not used to me showing up unannounced. Are you go- The commissioner gives a faint smile, but quickly turns serious. There's someone new in town. The crimes are getting bolder, more chaotic. And you know what that means? Gordon hands him a folder with photos. It's all we have so far. Nothing connects them, but they're all bizarre in their own way. There's strange robberies, stolen objects that make no sense, and these notes left behind with riddles scribbled by hand. Some of the things taken have turned up in places you wouldn't believe, like this diamond necklace. It was in a museum, locked in a case, and yet it's gone. They even took this, the Declaration of Independence. How did they get past all those security measures? What do they want with something like that? And then there's this. This is from the latest scene. They just left this here, taunting us. Says right here, a mind boggles at the choices I've made. A life sentence for a heart that won't break. Who is this person? What do they want? What does it mean? As a former GCPD homicide detective who took down the mob and Scarecrow, Jim Gordon has seen his fair share of criminals, but none that left him as baffled and intrigued as this new criminal. As Batman listens intently, his eyes scanning the images, his mind already working on the case. He knows that whoever they're dealing with is no ordinary criminal. There's a method to the madness, a pattern to the chaos. He can feel it! But what that pattern is, what the connection is, it's not so clear. Yet, Batman closes the folder, a determined look on his face. This is not the type of game he wants to play, riddles and theatrics. But if that's how the criminal wants it, then that's how it shall be. Taking a moment to look out over the city, Batman speaks, his voice a low growl. Tell me everything you know about these crimes, Gordon. Time is of the essence. As the commissioner begins to speak, launching into a detailed account of each crime, Batman's ears perk up, catching every word, every little detail. He's like a bloodhound, tracking down the scent of a predator. The more Gordon tells him, the more Batman's eyes narrow. His fists clench. He feels the urgency of the situation. With each passing moment, lives could be in danger. Not just the physical danger, but also the mental, emotional toll this criminal is taking on the city, its people. The first rule of detective work is to always follow the facts. So, as Batman leaves, disappearing into the shadows of Gotham, he takes the clues with him, the physical ones and the intangible ones, the riddles, the chaos, the very essence of the crimes. He'll sift through it all, piece by piece, until he finds the connection, the motive, the mastermind behind it all. He may be a creature of the night, a vigilante, but he's also a detective, an analyst, a relentless force to be reckoned with. This game is afoot and Batman is on the case. Meanwhile, hidden away in a top-secret facility, the Riddler watches Gotham's Dark Knight depart, a smug grin on his face. He knows he's won this round, that Batman is now on his path, a path riddled with riddles and puzzles. A path that will lead to nothing less than the ultimate showdown between intellects. A battle of wits, where only one can emerge victorious. As the Riddler throws back his head and laughs, the sound echoing through the halls of his lair, he knows that this is just the beginning. His grand entrance into Gotham, a city he intends to turn upside down, a city where order will soon be replaced with chaos, where the rules will change, and where the only constant will be his laughter. Now, let me ask you, what do you think the Riddler's endgame is? And how do you think Batman's gonna react when he realizes it's him? Let me know your thoughts. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more exciting content. See you next time. After the fight in the alley, the scene cuts to the rooftop of the Gotham City Police Department. The rain keeps pouring, but now we see the bat sigil shining against the clouds, lighting up the night. Commissioner Gordon, trench coat soaked, waits beside the spotlight. He lights a cigarette, uneasy. The camera pans away from him to reveal Batman standing at the edge of the roof, cape billowing in the wind. In his arms, he cradles the unconscious form of Catwoman. He turns, seeing the signal and the commissioner. He's battered and bruised, but there's a grim satisfaction on his face. Despite the ache in his shoulder, he walks towards them, stepping out of the shadows. Gordon takes a deep drag of his cigarette, his face illuminated by the rotating beacon. "You came back?" he says, his voice gruff with a mixture of surprise and reproach. Batman nods, placing Selina Kyle on the wet concrete. "I had to make sure." "Make what sure?" Gordon asks. His eyes narrowed. "That she wouldn't follow us to the GCPD. She could have gotten hurt." "She could have gotten hurt down there," Gordon retorts, gesturing to the city with a flick of his cigarette ash. "There are criminals everywhere. Batman, you know as well as I do that no one's safe in this city, not even your precious Catwoman." Batman doesn't respond right away. He looks out over the city, his jaw clenched tight. The wind whips around him, pulling at his cape like a living thing. Finally, he turns back to Gordon, his eyes dark and troubled. "Why did you call me here?" he asks, his voice a low growl. Gordon takes another drag from his cigarette, his gaze fixed on the swirling clouds above. "Because I need your help," he says quietly. "There's something big coming to Gotham. Something I haven't seen in my years on the force. Even Penguin and Falcone are laying low. No one knows what it is, where it came from, but everyone's afraid. Batman remains silent, his eyes narrowing as he considers Gordon's words. "Tell me what you know," he finally says, his voice low and dangerous. Gordon takes a deep breath and exhales slowly. "It started with Carmine Falcone's men! They attacked 2 of our Vice Squad. They were working on a case, something big, but when they went to Falcone's warehouse, they found nothing. No product, no weapons, no men. And since then, Falcone's been quiet. No phone calls, no meetings, nothing. It's like he's vanished into thin air." He pauses, taking another drag from his cigarette before continuing. "Then last night, Penguin's men attacked a shipment of arms. It was supposed to be delivered to the GCPD. Next thing we know, the shipment's hijacked and Penguin's goons are gone. It's like they're striking on everything we hold dear, trying to break us." Batman listens intently, his mind racing. He can feel the tension coiling in his chest, squeezing the breath from his lungs. He knows these attacks are more than mere criminal activity. There's a method to the madness, a calculated attempt to dismantle the fragile peace that Gotham has known. As Gordon finishes speaking, Batman turns and leaps to the edge of the building, disappearing into the darkness. He needs to get to the Batcave. Run tests on the blood sample he took from the warehouse. Maybe there's something in the DNA that can connect these attacks, lead him to the mastermind behind it all. But as he swings away, he hears Gordon's voice echoing in his ears. "Get back here! Batman! We need to talk." But Batman doesn't turn back. He knows that whatever evil is brewing in the shadows of Gotham, it won't wait for him to come back. The only question is, can he stop it? In the Batcave, Alfred is waiting. He's been monitoring the police radio, and he knows Batman's back. He doesn't ask questions. He doesn't need to. He sees the grim set of Batman's jaw, the wild look in his eyes. He knows the fight was harder than Batman lets on. "Alfred, run tests on this," Batman says, handing over the vial. "See if you can find anything, any connection between this and the warehouse." "Of course, Master Bruce," Alfred replies, taking the vial. "Anything for you, Master Bruce?" As Alfred leaves to run the test, Batman removes his cape, letting it fall to the floor. He leans heavily against the wall, the fight draining him, both physically and emotionally. But he knows he can't rest. Not now. Not when Gotham's in danger. Suddenly, Alfred's voice echoes through the cave. "Master Bruce, I think we just got a message."